Today I'm going to be making spaghetti squash with a tomato meat sauce using some red wine, garlic, onion, tomato sauce, tomato paste, ground beef, thyme, olive oil, and a little salt and pepper. Because I'm cooking spaghetti squash, I have preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and additionally I have got some bay leaves out. I forgot to tell you about them earlier. So now we've taken that onion, we've cut it into eighths, and put that in the food processor along with as much garlic as you want, 5 to 10 cloves. We're going to give it a little pulse. And we're going to get a nice onion garlic paste that is going to be the base of our tomato sauce. Back to the Dutch oven we have here. I'm going to add some olive oil to the bottom. Not a whole lot. We're going to let that heat. And as it's heating, we're going to go ahead and get our paste from earlier. It's right here, our garlic onion, and we're going to just dump that right in. Once that's in, we're going to get a little color on it, and then we'll add the beef. Alright, we're cooking really well here, so it's nice and fragrant. What we're going to do now is add in our ground beef. I'm using ground Black Angus, which looks and smells amazing. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, and I'm going to cook it until it's browned. Okay, so at this point I've got salt and pepper in here, and I'm just kind of trying to work this ground beef so that it crumbles and browns at the same time. And once we've got it nice and brown, we're going to add in some tomato paste. I have a 6-ounce can. You can use a 6-ounce or an 8-ounce can. Either one's going to do the trick. Once we have that in, we're going to add in, about 2 minutes later, a cup of red wine. Cook that for a little bit, and then we're going to throw in an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. So you can see here I've got my tomato sauce, my wine, my bay leaves, and my thyme ready. I've just put in my tomato paste. Now I'm really going to start mixing that into my ground beef. Get that nice tomato flavor all mixed in. Now when it comes to the wine, I know there's cooking wine, but everything I've read says that you should never cook with a wine that you wouldn't drink. So we're using the mixed up red blend. Super tasty and delicious. Wow, look at that meat. Y'all, it smells so good. Okay, I'm going to grab my mixed up red blend, and I'm just going to pour that right in. Okay, 1 cup. None extra for this chef, but if you want to have a glass, go ahead. And we're going to go ahead and stir that up, kind of try and scrape off the sides there. And we're going to stir it here for a little bit. We're going to be bringing this to a boil. Obviously, we're going to be cooking out the actual alcohol and just leaving in the taste. Okay. We're going to let it simmer for just a second, and then we'll be adding in the tomato sauce, the bay leaves, and the thyme. Okay, here's our bay leaves, our fresh thyme, and our tomato sauce. Let's grab that tomato sauce and go right into the sauce. There we go. Okay, give that a nice stir. And you can see how it's already starting to boil. That's good, that's what we want. What we're now going to do is we're going to toss those bay leaves on top, as well as a few sprigs of fresh thyme. And then we're going to turn the heat down to low, and we're going to simmer this for an hour. You're going to want to check it periodically, adding water if you need to, but as of right now, we're good to go to turn it down and focus our attention on the squash. But before we focus on the squash, I almost forgot, we need to add some water. So I just filled the tomato sauce can with some water. I'm going to go ahead and pour that in. All right. And we're going to check on that, like I said, periodically throughout the hour to make sure it doesn't need any extra liquid. So you'll notice there's no food here, and that's because I accidentally deleted part of the video. What you should be doing at this time is taking your 2 spaghetti squash and cutting them in half. You'll then use a spoon to scoop out the seeds and throw them away. And then with about a tablespoon per half, rub it down with some olive oil and then season with some salt and pepper. You're going to put those flesh side down on a parchment lined baking sheet and pop that into your 400-degree oven about 10 minutes after you put the sauce to simmer. They're going to cook for 45 to 50 minutes. Then I decided to go ahead and grab some asparagus, zucchini, and white mushrooms to roast in the oven at the 30-minute mark along with the spaghetti squash. All right. Here's our vegetables. We've got the asparagus, the mushrooms, and the zucchini. It's all kind of bunched up, tossing that olive oil and salt and pepper. And I threw in a little Italian seasoning because why not? Tastes great. We've got the sauce over here. Let's check on it. Beautiful. Don't need to add any water right now. And as soon as there's 30 more minutes left on the spaghetti squash, we're going to pop this in the oven, and then it'll all be done together. So everything is done. We've got the spaghetti squash out of the oven, as well as the roasted vegetables. And then here we've mixed in some spinach. So what we're going to do now is take a fork and scrape out the spaghetti squash into a bowl, and then we'll combine everything in with the sauce. Okay, we've gotten all of our spaghetti squash out. We've got our vegetables, and we're going to go ahead and mix those into the sauce. So I can't do that with a camera in my hand, so I'm going to pause. I'm going to go ahead and put everything in and then bring the video back as I stir it up. Okay, we've got everything in the pot now, and that is a full pot right there. So I'm going to try to start incorporating this. Stand back a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. But basically, we're just stirring all that vegetable and spaghetti squash into the meat sauce. I'm going to need 2 hands here, but boy, when that gets incorporated, that is just going to look fantastic. Alright, and there it is. Spaghetti squash with meat sauce and roasted vegetables. Hope y'all enjoyed this recipe.